can go ahead and deliver the verdict?
I am completely satisfied with this judgment. It shows great sagacity on the part of the Supreme Court. They have accepted that the points that my petition is maintainable despite a heavy attempt by the government to block it on all kinds of bogus arguments like that I am trying to be a third party in this criminal trial, which I was not. It was a pure public interest that the flat 18 years definition without ifs and buts is totally against the international conventions of the United Nations and therefore has to be re-looked at. What I do understand, the court has given freedom to the Juvenile Justice Board to pronounce this verdict, but that is because my petition may go on for another 3-4 months because the government can do all kinds of filibustering, which they have done it already. So therefore, to have it not delivered, judgment not delivered for 3-4 months would have been against the interest of justice. It is better that they deliver the judgment. I then, under section 52, 53 of the Juvenile Justice Act, make an appeal against that order and come straight to the Supreme Court and attach it to the present petition of mine on the law points and ask for a stay of that order.
One more point. What is the issue on merit? On which issue the Supreme Court will go into it?
The Supreme Court will go into the question whether the section 2 bracket L and K, where it prescribes that a juvenile a criminal offender would be entitled to the safeguards of the Juvenile Justice Act if he is 18 years or below. If my petition is accepted, it will say 18 years or below unless his mental, intellectual and emotional maturity is beyond 18, or in other words, he knew what he was doing. So for heinous crimes, 18 will not be the definition of a juvenile. They have noticed to the yes, they have issued notice to all the affected parties, the Union of India, the Juvenile Justice Board. They have issued it to all the people.
Thanks, sir. Sir, 1 to 1 करना है. एक मिनट. छोड़ दो, मैं रख देता हूँ. चलो.
आप लोग तो निराश बहुत जल्दी हो जाते हैं.
नहीं सर,
मैंने तो लेकिन अब उसका ऑर्डर है. You expect the Juvenile Justice Board का order to be permanently, I mean 5 months, 6 months to be held? नहीं, यही ठीक है.
See, that is fine.
उन्होंने सूझबूझ दिखाई है सर Supreme Court में.
Yeah. Larger question is
not only larger question. This question also is appealable. You are not saying that everything is not.
All right, the big breaking news. The Supreme Court has issued a notice to the central government and maintains Swami's plea on the interpretation of juvenile. And Rhythm is getting us this big breaking news. Now, Rhythm, then obviously this is a huge step. And obviously, what kind of bearing then will it have on the Juvenile Justice Board, which is hearing one of the accused here in this case?
Yes, Deepthi, that is the most pertinent question because we are really trying to see the court in the larger picture has said that Swami's petition has now been allowed, which really means Dr. Subramanian Swamy in the Supreme Court had wanted and moved a petition to interpret the word juvenile in a correct manner. He said that the present interpretation of the word juvenile only was on the basis of age. It should also be on the basis of intellectual maturity. That is the bigger picture. But as you asked about the smaller picture, the prosecution of the juvenile who's been accused in the December 16th gang rape case, the Supreme Court very clearly has said the Juvenile Justice Board can now go ahead and give its orders. Till this time, they were waiting for the Supreme Court to pass its order. Only then would they have given the order. Now the news that's coming in clearly means that the accused in the Delhi December 16 gang rape case can now be facing whatever sentence will be given to him by the Juvenile Justice Board. The bigger picture being deeply that the Supreme Court will be giving a fresh interpretation to the term juvenile. Remember, after the December 16th horrific gang rape that had taken place in the capital, there was a huge uproar over the juvenile getting away with only 3 years punishment under the present law. That particular law is now going to be interpreted before the top court by Dr. Subramanian Swamy in his petition. Has already issued a notice to the central government and all the other parties. A fresh look at the Juvenile Justice Act will be taken. Like Dr. Swamy did say, the reason he wants this to be interpreted is because he says that it should be in touch with the international conventions and treaties. Also the fact that the interpretation of term juvenile is necessary because keeping in mind the fact that if the present interpretation of juvenile is taken in the Delhi gang rape case, this particular accused will get away with only 3 years of sentencing, which is something that everybody was outraged at. So the bigger picture being that the court will be deciding on the interpretation of the term juvenile in the Juvenile Justice Act.
Right, Rhythm, many thanks for joining us with this big breaking news.